yesterday was pretty productive. We now have the cab sitting on, well, not on, but over the frame. We're going to have to scab in the firewall onto here. Today what I need to get done is I need to get the steering shaft on. This is actually the one that came off of the firewall we're using, but 4x4. It's different. Won't fit this actual gearbox. The funny thing is, this has rack and pinion. The 4x4 has a gearbox. So completely two different things. You can see how high up we are off the frame right now. It might not stay that high. We're not sure yet. After we get the firewall in, we'll figure out how low we want to go. I mean, even with it sitting that high, it's still pretty low to the ground, you know? And you got to add in another, like, that much to the bottom of the doors for the step rails and stuff. So, we got a lot to do. The one thing that worries me is, if you look right here, you can see we're already, like, on that distributor all the way. Now, there is a little dimple to go around a distributor, but worst comes to worst, we can mold the firewall to actually go in a little bit, and it won't hurt nothing. I mean, we're going to have to build the custom, like, floor pan and everything, because how it went down, as you can see over there, it bolted to the bottom of the floor here, and then up the side, and actually bolted to the firewall. This was all a bolt-in piece. So now we'll have to remake that, which we knew we would, and we'll have to make some kind of hump to go over that transmission, a tunnel, you know. It's not touching the tunnel as far as I can tell right now. Actually, yes, it's sitting right on top of it. So that'll have to be cut. And Dodge, of course, their engines, transmissions, and rear ends are all offset to the left. That's why if you look at it, here's the stick, or the center of the motor. That's the throttle body. That'll be the dead nut center. And over here is the center of the windshield. It's not that our body is that far off, if that's what you're thinking. No, it's actually the motors on the Dakotas are off. So, lovely. Just another challenge, you know. We're used to that. But now I have to go out back and get another steering shaft off of another Dakota, the actual frame that this came off of, or the body that came off of this frame, and put it on here so I can slide it through the firewall to screw it to what's left there of the firewall we left, so it can, you know, get lined up, the distance and everything, because we don't know how far in or out we are right now or anything. All we know is it's got to be 24 from the center of this hub to that door. 24 inches, which is what we're set at almost right now. So, it's close. I'm going to get at it. And remember, guys, hit up the shop, buy some swag. Every bit of that you buy goes to creating better content for you. This is the shirts and hoodies we got right now. The hoodies only come in black because black's the best on here. But we have shirts in different colors, with women's shirts, kids shirts. Buy some. It's in the link at the end of the video. So I've been working on the firewall and whatnot, getting it mocked in. Cut the floor a little bit over here. But I just found one thing that I am going to just love. We can still use the original battery hole in the floor. That is so awesome. I love little stuff like that comes together. I love it. You can see the firewall. It's going to be a fight the full way. I think we need to bring the cab down another inch, which will bring that steering in the rest of the way, and it'll drop the angle on it down a little bit. Better for us. But I have everything set. Now, if you're building a 50, I think it's a 51, 52, 53, something in that year range Dodge. Short wheelbase, one of these. They don't have really like, you know, it's not like a D100 in this, or a D1 in fact. Most of these are them, what is it called? Whatever. Job rated. Yeah, the job rated Dodges, that's what it is. But anyway, got a little bit of specs here for you for mounting your cab. So, from the door edge, this edge right here, not this edge, but this edge, to the center of your hub, right there, is 24 inches. So you put your cab at 24 from there, you're dead nuts, okay? Now, from the body mounts, if yours are still there, that outside body mount right here to the frame, not on the weld where the actual body mount is, but to the actual frame, is 11 7/16. Both sides, that equals out your body, perfect on the frame. Now, on the back side, to make sure your back is straight, from the edge of the cab right here to the frame, again to the frame, not on the weld, but to the frame, is 2.5 inches. So each side would be 2.5 here, 2.5 there. 11 7/16 there, 11 7/16 on the other side. 24 inches from here to there, 24 from here to there. That's your cab. Now from that point, it's gonna get fun, because your bed is basically depends on what frame you got. This is a short wheelbase frame. We already know we're gonna have to cut this 4 inches. Why? Well, it's a 112 and a 108. It's 4 inches. It's the difference. So if you got an extended cab, it'll be more. If you got a quad cab, I'm not sure. I think the bed actually gets smaller on the quad cab, so it'll still be like a extended cab. But either way, that's your measurements. You're very welcome. That's what I'm here for. So I've spent hours here doing this so far. Now, as far as height, that's on you, because some of you guys might want to drop it all the way down and go frame to cab, and it's going to be like less than a pop can off the ground when you get step rails on, if you put step rails on. You don't have to, but you could. So that's going to be low, real low. The next thing that I have to do, or well, I have to say here, is you will have to build your own tunnel and kick panel there, or if you're using the factory Dakota floor, you ain't got to worry about it. This one, this guy wants to keep it as much original as he can. In fact, we're not even pulling the gauges out of here. We're leaving the gauges, but we're putting the gauges in here. So it'd be like, which with a little work, you could remake these gauges to work in here, I'm sure. The speedo, doubt it, because this is an electronic speedo that's driven by cable. But it's cool. As you can tell, I think somebody had a stereo in here. That's actually weird though. Imagine driving your vehicle and your stereo's in front of you and your gauges are off to the right. That's crazy. But he probably won't have a stereo in here, or if he does, he'll make it himself, like an aftermarket setup. He'll probably drop like, well, we might actually have to do this. If he wants to keep all them knobs right here, we'll have to make our own little bracket down below it for the AC switches and stuff. But right now, right now we can do anything with the Firewall or anything, because I know for a fact we need to drop it down another inch. And that's so we can clear the, or make the steering shaft come up and angle down a little bit more, because right now it's kind of like really high. It's pointing straight in your face. But yeah, this has been gonna look like it's gonna be pretty easy. I am at a standstill right now because I'm not 100% sure what to do about the firewall, in the fact of it's really tight fitting to everything. So I'm waiting on Scott to get here and we'll figure it out from that point. But you can see, like, right there's where the wiring's gonna go. It's all over far enough to where when we put the heater box in, because these are things you have to think about. Them lines right there, the silver lines that come out, are your heat AC. Not your heat, but your AC. And those come out right there where I have the vice grips, channel locks, whatever you want to call them. And there's 8 inches from this point to here that needs for that box to fit. If you have this way over to here, you will not be running AC and heat. You will just have a old school hot rod. In my opinion, I don't really care about AC and heat. I wouldn't even run them. I would smooth out that firewall, cut like this bracket off right here and use just that this side, clean all that up flat. But I'm weird. I don't care much for AC and heat. Something like this, I wouldn't drive it in the wintertime. Why? I just don't. I wouldn't. You could. I just wouldn't. Anything else I need to ramble on about here? Nah. We did switch out to the smaller 17-gallon gas tank. You can see how small them things are compared to its brother, which is like a 21-gallon. It's huge, mungus. Let's see here. I cut the back mounts off, so those aren't on there, as you can clearly see. So that's not going to be in the way of anything. Yeah, but it's going pretty good so far. Tunnel, kick panel. We already got the exhaust bolted back on. O2's hooked back up. Transmission's hooked back up. The wiring to up here is hooked back up. That feeds your fuel pump, taillights, etc. etc. This is your throttle cable. The actual shift linkage is right there, and it has a bracket and goes through right here. We haven't decided which brake system we're using. We're probably going to use the 4x4 master cylinder. It's bigger and for the V8, so we'll probably use it. We got a bunch of grounds to hook up. Those will go to the firewall after we weld it in and bolt in the AC. So yeah, it's going. And these Dodges are super particular about their grounds. If you don't have the grounds hooked up, like if you're missing one ground, let's say this ground right here is missing, or not missing, but not hooked up, and every other ground is, your fuel pump might not work, or your volt gauge might not work, or your let's see here, your taillights might not work, or your engine might not run. It's that particular. A Chevy, my Caprice, I have 3 grounds on the whole car, man. I have a ground that goes from the back of the head to the firewall, and from the front of the head to the battery to the frame to the body. That's it. That's all the grounds. And the whole car will run with that. These, you have to have, there's like 8. And if you ain't got one hooked up, start looking for them. So, that's the fun part. But I'm going to jump off and get back on this.